What's going on, guys? You've made it to the right place. Thank you for joining me today. My name's Scott. I'm going to be the captain of this ship today. This is the home of the 150% guarantee, known as the drip, where 100% of the time I'm going to be over 50% right. Every knife has a story. I like to try to jump into part of that story, dissect a little bit, have fun with it. That's why we're all here. God dang, it feels great. It's a weekend, July 30th. The only thing that didn't feel, well, it feels good because I've got my brothers and sisters in town. We're kind of having a celebration. So anytime I watch this in the future, my mother turned 87 about a week ago, and she's dealing with cancer right now. So it's a little bit of a struggle for the family, but getting through it. Just thought I would share it a little bit. So we got a treat today. I'm going to talk about a Microtech. Now, this is an auto, so of course, like I try to mention, I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you can enjoy it for what it is. I know a lot of people live in countries, states, places where you can't carry one. Sometimes you can just own it. Sometimes I don't know all the specific laws, but I've never been an attorney. I only played one on TV until that went haywire. So we're going to talk about a Microtech. Now, I do have a couple of other videos for a Microtech Combat Troodon and a Troodon, and then also a Microtech single edge. And I kind of go over a little bit more in depth about the action and function of a out the front auto. So, I may not go into great depth here in this video, but just to let you know, you can, if you want, check out some of my other videos. Feel free to do that. So this particular model, just kind of show you, and slight history. Anthony Marfione is the owner of Microtech. He started the company, I believe it was back in 93 or 94. And it's really grown to be, over the years, one of the leaders and most well-known companies in the automatic field for out the fronts especially. And the Ultratechs are kind of the bread and butter. They are known for being probably their most popular EDC, or everyday carry knife that they offer. And they're a good weight, they're a good size, and a lot of people are familiar with Ultratechs if they're familiar with Microtech. So this particular model is going to be a Microtech Signature Series Ultratech, and this is a Hellhound Tanto blade. I've had this one for probably about, I'm guessing, a couple of years. We can see that April of 21. So about 16 months, almost a year and a half, I guess. So most of the Ultratechs are very similar in the way that they function and operate, but they have like different blade shapes, styles, DLC, all black, Signature Series. They have a lot of different specialty knives that they have. Star Wars, you can get like the Boba Fett. What else do they have? Just a lot of different things. Offhand, you can get anything that you want, whether it be a dagger, a spear point, a single edge drop point. And I did review the Sith Lord, I believe it's called, which has the red dagger blade on it. But yeah, so lots of different kinds, different handles, but they're all going to be typically right around the same size, and they do tend to function and act the same way. They've been around a long time, as I said. Out the front, or known as a OTF, is an auto. This is basically two-way. So it's a dual action. Single action is when you would eject or fire your blade out, and then you would have to retract it manually. Dual action is where you would use a switch, like in this case here, to fire it, and then you can just pull the switch or use an auto to retract the blade. So that's kind of the difference as far as the OTF and the single and dual action. So this is definitely a dual action, as we can see here. This particular blade itself, and the Ultratech's best known, like I said, it's been a staple of Microtech for a really long time. Now the spring in this particular Ultratech, it's going to remain at rest both whenever it is open or closed. So, and that helps to reduce wear on the knife and the spring. So when we pull it back and you're pulling against a spring and resistance, now it's at rest. So if it's in your pocket or you're carrying it, there's not going to be any stress on the spring or the knife itself. We push, you get to that resistance point, which you can see my thumb. It takes quite a bit of pressure to push on the switch right here, which is kind of a new little bit on this signature series. It's a little bit more of a very subtle step up to the point here where the X, I call it an X here at the top, but you have to really push this to about 85% and then it will break. So just to kind of go over, if this is in your pocket and you're worried about, well, maybe I'm going to push this button hard enough that it would fire into me, that's not going to happen. It really isn't. There's no safety on here other than the built-in safety where when you push against this, it's going to resist. So even if you had your leg pushing it or something, the amount of force needed is so great, it's not going to happen. It really isn't, unless you intend to fire this out. Some of them are a little bit stiffer than others. This one is pretty well broke in and loose for me. So although it takes resistance, it doesn't hurt my thumb. It isn't bothering me in any way. I don't have to struggle with it. So that's always a good thing to have. Now, another thing people worry about, and if you watch John Wick or some other shows, you very quite possibly could believe that this particular knife, if you got it in your hand and you're like this, you can just go up to someone, put this against their body and fire that into them, and you're going to stab them and pull it back and you can walk away and you never see the blade. Well, that can't happen, because if you have this within a close range of something and you fire it out, it's going to just come off track. Whereas it may stab you a little bit, it's not going to puncture you or insert into your neck or kill you. Most likely, I never want to say 100% of the time because we never know. There could be some type of a real freak way it does something. But anyways, it's off the track. You can see here. So you can either just shake it out or you can pull it out. Once you do that, it locks it back in place. And then you can continue to fire it. So just a couple of little safety things as far as being able to break that point, as well as when it fires out, it's not going to just eject into someone's skin and go right through your hand. So the blade steel itself on this particular knife, even though there are no markings other than on the clip here, this is M390. Very strong and snappy. I'm sure you can hear that firing out of there. Solid lockup. It wiggles just a little bit, as you can hear. And that is completely normal in an OTF like this, because the way it's set on the track inside and it fires out and locks into place, you have to have, the slightest little bit of area for it to move, so it'll lock in properly and not get jammed all the time because it's so tight. So that's just one of the natural things of an OTF, in this case, the Ultratech. Really is the standard of the auto world. You got nice black flats on this particular blade, black DLC finish, plain edge. tanto, tip down. You do have the triangle hardware on this one, as you can see here. You have one size that's a little bit larger than the top of the aluminum where the handles are put together. And I love, love, love the aggressive look of this Hellhound. And these typically run about 500 bucks. I think it's a little bit over $500 for this particular knife or knife style for the Ultratech Hellhound. But whether it be, I think a lot of the time it's kind of for attraction and show. Like, I don't know a lot of people that'll buy these and then actually carry and use them every day as a hard user. A lot of people with Microtechs just collect them. They like the look of them. They like to fidget with them. Some people, they'll keep them in the box and just throw them in a safe for an limited amount of time. Other people do use them. Now, in my experience, a very limited carry with this particular knife. It does cut fine. It came very sharp, like most Microtechs do. I used it for a little bit of some daily carry, and for me, it was fine because I'm just opening a few boxes or packages or letters or cutting strings or very simple tasks. I didn't take it out in the woods or do any crazy work with it. I just don't want to. It's too pretty of a knife. And you can see how that grind is on the top. You've got a nice little swedge leading from the jimping. I don't think that these are designed for any type of a specific task or, function. I think it's just for design and for weight, to drop the weight a little bit. But look at that edge. This is probably one of my favorite blade styles on Microtechs, is the Hellhound. And they've got, again, so many different styles, types, and depending on the complexity of the knife, the blade, the design, then the price kind of starts to go up a little bit more. The handle, as I said, it's all aluminum. You've got your switch up here at the top that opens and closes. This one is smooth on both sides. Some Ultratechs will actually come with different types of patterns or texture or step side. This one is just the all tactical black. You have some jimping underneath, a little bit of jimping on the top. When you grab a hold of it, as you can see, my hand has plenty of room to wrap around this handle. And it's comfortable. This is a comfortable handle. You can put your finger naturally up where the trigger is, or you could move up a little bit onto the top of the blade to maybe do some push cuts, or a little bit of using the tip. I like this area at the edge of the tip where you can put that in down and run it along the edge of a box to open something. It just makes it to where you're using more of the blade here on the end, or to lift things up if you needed to lift something on a corner. But very, very good fit in the hand for me. Large glove. I mean, you could have a small or even a little bit larger hand. It is a little narrow, but it doesn't feel awkward at all. The jimping is in appropriate places. You could flip it around and you could feel good just as well on a reverse grip of it. It does have a nice clip here, I consider nice. The only thing is, a lot of times when you slide this on your pocket, it's going to take you pretty deep, but I've never really found where my pants or anything goes up in the skinniest or thinnest part of the clip. It usually stops about right here. But you got the signature here, you got the born on date, you have the Marfion logo, you have the serial number up here at the top. As far as branding and stamping, this is all you have. It fits comfortably on the pocket. Never had a problem with this tearing my pocket up. I don't mind the look of this. Comes with a glass breaker. Yes, these have glass breakers, and you can go and take these out and put a screw in here that would just take away the glass breaker. I've seen some people do that. To me, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I doubt that I would be out needing to use the glass breaker, but it's there in case you need to. You have a lanyard hole, which is an extremely little hole. I don't have any clue. It would just have to be something really small to put through there. And people do complain that when this is clipped on your pocket and they put their hand into their pocket, that this will scrape the back of their hand. So I've seen people either ground this off or change the clip and take this off and put a different clip on here. So this is only tip down, right hand carry. Now, about an OTF, does it have benefits? What would be the reasoning behind this? Guys, OTF, like any type of a tool, is going to serve many purposes. And depending on you, there's a lot of things or criteria that goes into, is this a good knife for me? Are you somebody that just loves the look of something really stylish, that when you pull it out and use it, or you're sitting on the couch clicking it, does it have that I'm going to piss you off factor for somebody next to you by listening to this click over and over? Do you like that? Are you looking for something that you could be working heavy duty and in a factory and opening a bunch of boxes, or, you know, it just depends. I think it's a beautiful knife. I love having this in my collection, and I think it works great. I would steer away if I worked in a really dusty environment, if I worked in a sandy environment, a wet environment, or if you were working around processing foods. Those are the main things I would not pick this for. Obviously, if you're cutting food, you're doing your work, you can get sticky stuff inside here, or food, you know, that you're cutting stuck in here. And even if you wipe it off, when you pull this back, anything you take inside here could gum this up or mess it up. So I would stay away from food processing or cutting with this knife. Sand, of course, or anything dusty can get in here, since this is an open area where the blade is housed. Anything that gets down in here can cause problems in the track. And of course, moisture, water. So for the things and the benefit of ease, being one-handed and pulling it out, using it, putting away, but you do have a few little things that can kind of prohibit you from doing certain tasks with this type of a knife. So I would say, just as much as someone would buy this to use it, I think most people probably collect it and just like looking at it and being able to have it as a piece that they enjoy. And that's kind of me. I would have this and carry other knives with it. So, all right, guys. Anyways, this was the Microtech Signature Series Ultratech Hellhound Tanto. And remember our pets, remember our vets, the little furry ones, the non-furry ones, the ones that love us no matter how we feel, what we're doing. Remember our vets, those that fought to help us get freedoms that we have and maintain those on a daily basis. Don't forget, like and subscribe. I've got some great content. Well, always great content. I'm just going to keep pumping out content for you guys. It's climbing that mountain nice and steady, kind of like the little guy in Price is Right. Ole, 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 ole. We don't want to fall off, though. So I won't let it happen. Hit subscribe. That punches your ticket, gets you on the raft with us. We're a small, little, neat, cool, hip group that's going to stand together, have fun. And with that, be good to yourself. Like who you see in the mirror. Strive to be better. Purge yourself of all that horrible type thoughts of not being good enough, because you are. And until we meet again, my friends, Keep doing what you do. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.